The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. 13 Filipinos evacuated from Ukraine have arrived in Poland after the Russian invasion. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin welcomed the evacuees in a border crossing station. Locsin welcomed the evacuees on board a bus after a 5-hour wait. They are the first group of Filipino evacuees to arrive in Poland. The DFA vows to ensure that Filipinos in Ukraine are safe and repatriate them as soon as possible. Now, several provinces outside Metro Manila said they are not yet ready to downgrade to Alert Level 1 due to several concerns. Camille Samonte with the details.
The League of Provinces of the Philippines is appealing to the IATF to consult the local chief executives before downgrading LGUs to Alert Level 1. Marinduque Governor Presby Velasco Jr. said provinces are still not ready to ease the restrictions due to low vaccination rate.
Kailangan ikonsulta yung mga governors kung anong yung gusto nila kasi mas alam nila yung nangyayari sa probinsya nila eh. Pag maayos na yung kanilang vaccination nila ng A2, A3 at saka yung A5, pwede na mag-alert level 1, di ba? Kasi may herd immunity.
Velasco noted that the data on case transmission, ICU admission, and hospital care utilization are not accurate due to unreported cases. With this, local chief executives are more aware of the existing situation regarding the COVID-19 situation in their areas. Velasco also expressed concern over the inadequate COVID beds in many provincial hospitals.
Yung mga ibang mga TPMF at mga COVID rooms ng mga LGUs na iba, kulang pa yun. Yung iba under construction. So, paano tayo makakapagsabi kung biglang mag-search? Di ba? Kung magle-level 1 bigla. Aba, delikado.
The LPP will submit their formal position to the IATF on the matter. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Here are the stories from around the world. North Korea has fired an unidentified projectile after a seemingly quiet month without launches during the Beijing Olympics. South Korea's military reported that North Korea fired an unidentified projectile eastward without providing any further details. The Russian army has been given orders to broaden its offensive in Ukraine from all directions after Kyiv refused to hold talks in Belarus. Russian forces have made thrusts into the Ukrainian capital Kyiv before falling back to the outskirts. They are facing tough resistance on day 3 of the invasion ordered by President Vladimir Putin. And Germany has approved the deliveries of 400 anti-tank rocket launchers to Ukraine. This is in complete turnaround from the country's long-standing policy of banning weapons exports to conflict zones. Now, a government source said they are prepared to release more urgently needed materials for the defense of Ukraine. The anti-tank launchers will be delivered through Netherlands. Three-time Paralympic medalist Millie Knight shares the challenges she faces during her games. Her story in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
I love the freedom that skiing gives me.
Millie Knight has been skiing since the age of 6 with her mother as her guide.
It was really good fun and a great opportunity to ski with my mum as an intro into the sports.
That's when she started losing the majority of the sight in both thighs from an infection. The 23-year-old is a 3-time Paralympic medalist and a 2-time world champion, skiing in all 5 alpine disciplines from slalom to downhill. Now she's competing in the 2022 Beijing Paralympics.
To be in my 3rd Paralympic Games is pretty amazing. I'm very lucky to have had the experiences of 2 prior games that I hope I'll be able to take the experiences and knowledge into Beijing.
Millie doesn't ski alone. Brett has been her guide for the past 6 years.
It's a very unique relationship. I'd say we were probably best friends now. And the way that we get on is pretty amazing, considering that, he spent 6 years putting up with me, which I think he deserves a medal in his own right just for that. I'm 1 sense down. Being visually impaired means that actually one of my other senses, like my hearing, has been heightened. So I can pick up a lot of information from the snow and from the sound of Brett's skis. I've obviously got the Bluetooth headsets and our helmets, so a microphone and an earpiece. So that's where I'll be listening to Brett, but also he wears a luminous orange jacket and skis in front of me. So I'll be trying to follow that as much as possible too. Whether it's bumpy, whether it's icy, soft, all sorts of things like that, that he doesn't need to communicate to me, which is pretty helpful when you're traveling at speeds of up to 120 kilometers an hour. There's not a lot of time to communicate things like that. Then I will also communicate back to him, saying whether I can still see him, whether I can't, whether our distance is too great or too small.
Like many others, COVID has made her trainings even more challenging.
During the first lockdown, it affected us quite a lot. There was a long period of time where we were off snow, and actually the time at home actually enabled me to work very, very heavily on my fitness and my strength.
And 2021 was a tough year for both. Millie had her 4th concussion, and her guide Brett was recovering from a knee injury.
It was really difficult, heartbreaking, and very, very mentally challenging as well. It's something that took a lot out of me and took a lot to push through as well.
Millie says dealing with fear is one of the biggest tests in her skiing career.
Doubt came in, fear was there. I genuinely believed that I wasn't good enough anymore and that I shouldn't be competing at the level that I'm competing at. So my lack of confidence in my ability and myself, combined with being scared and having the fear of hitting my head and getting concussion again, are the most challenging things that I have had to deal with. So I'm constantly having to work on my confidence, on kind of building up that resilience to it. I love the freedom that skiing gives me, the ability to go at the speeds that I want to go at to places that I want to go to. It's just me and Brett, and we can go pretty fast.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 2 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on a Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.